officially live streaming on YouTube right now.
Okay.
So that's the safe word. Actually, is endocrinology.
Okay.
Let me just. I gotta do some shares and all that stuff. Oh shit.
Marathon.
That's how you know they're good. Last all night. It's not what you want.
Probably not the way I'd use
Yeah,
it.
no, I don't think that's how you want to use them in general.
Yeah,
If
it's
it's a
probably a
brand
bad
thing.
idea. Oh, nice. You grabbed that picture of me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
This seems fun too. You guys promoted by Apple and or Adam and Eve now, whatever this is.
It's kind. Not really.
Oh, this looks fun.
Just your personal endorsements.
Yeah, just we've got secrets of Sex Island.
Nice.
All right. So, everybody ready? We're all good.
Sure.
I'm ready.
All right. Cool.
Damn it.
We have some stuff we're gonna play. Yo, here's your volume control. Here, we're gonna have some stuff we're gonna play, and then we'll get like officially started in a moment.
Yes.
Hello, kids. This is Ryan from the Dead Radio Podcast. Please excuse me while I get these plugs out of the way. Please subscribe to the Dead Radio Podcast on iTunes, Beyond Pod, or whatever your mobile podcast app preference may be to download and listen to the show on the go. Not sure how to do that? Go to our YouTube page by searching Dead Radio Podcast and watching the lovely video Adam posted to teach you dummies how to figure it out. You might as well subscribe to the channel as well while you're there. We're also on Instagram at Dead Radio Podcast and on Facebook as well. Facebook.com/Dead Radio Podcast. If you'd like to support the show, send us a few shekels at our Patreon page, patreon.com/Dead Radio Podcast. Your support will help to
Enhance
the show and fund future Dead Radio projects like Tim Cop, a live chili cook-off, and a shot-for-shot remake of Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. We do this show for fun, but as Danny DeVito and Twins once said,
Well, money talks and bullshit walks.
we also share the internets with other local podcasts. So check out Dark Side Records Podcast, Dorkside at Dark Side Podcast, Hudson Valley Legends Podcast, and Hudson Valley Transmitter Podcast. And as always, the Dead Radio Podcast is sponsored by Track 7 Studios, providing quality artistic photography and video services for advertising or events of any size. They will photography anything. And if anybody has been paying attention, I just said the word podcast 13 times. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the show.
This is the latest disclosure in a report from National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life.
Welcome to Dead Radio.
We're not doing that.
How did she come to have sex with a dead man?
Don't call me Radio Unit 91.
You're a dead man. You're a dead man!
He's God here in this radio station.
Place where the dead speak.
Rebel Radio!
I'm a fake? Yes. How'd you like to be dead?
You ever think about doing radio?
My team is dead!
But you're not crazy. You're me. And this is just radio.
By the powers vested in me by the Federal Communications Commission, I command you to get on the microphone in a serious manner and continue this broadcast.
All right. And we're back. 1 week later. You okay over there?
Yeah.
How's everybody doing? Well,
Awesome.
I'm a little tired.
I'm back from my fresh off of Rammstein.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
St.
that.
John's Beach, or St. John's Beach.
St. John's Beach.
St. John's Beach, where they were starting early. Jones Beach Theater in Wantage, Long Island, and it was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I just want to get that right out of the way. That it was a shit ton of fire and fireworks. So we're back again, episode number 121, off and running, and we have a very special guest this week.
I really want you to stop saying off and running.
Why? That's
like,
my
there's
thing.
no 4 podcasts do it. Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah, I've been listening. I've been noticing it lately.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think the definitely the Devil You Know. They do it every single episode.
By the Church of Satan.
Yeah, and John Shaw, who is local, but none of the other people are local. Like one's in Arizona and one's in California or something.
Mm-hmm.
But that's besides the point. It annoys me, and I'd like you to stop.
All right, so I'll think of something different. I like
or don't.
Ready and Rarin'.
No, that's even worse.
That's creepy.
Up and at 'em.
Up and at them.
Really go along with your dad joke vibe.
Listen, don't try and hijack the show.
She's an actual listener.
Oh, yeah?
Very
Yeah,
few
I
have
listen
ever sat in on this show.
Well, the real reason why we're all here today is for William Greenage, the fourth. The fourth. And you're with Ajna.
Ajna.
Ajna. Why did I say Anya? Anya's a thing.
That's like
Jesus.
like
I had it
easy,
right.
Easy listening something.
From what I understand about Sanskrit, it actually depends on the locale. So Anya might be accurate depending on where you are.
Oh, okay. Sure.
But for the most part, it's Ajna. Guy Harriman says Ajna. Pratika, people
So-
I bought it from.
It's ajnalightnyc.com. You are you do light-induced pineal gland activation.
Yes, I am a neo-shamanic practitioner, and this is the journey tool that I bring, as well as spiritual guidance, simple meditative technique.
Yeah. We met at the, for those who don't know, we met at the coffee shop. Just kind of started chatting one really dead night when no one was there. And you first mentioned DMT.
Yes.
Have you heard about DMT and this and that? Yes, I have. And we started talking about the Joe Rogan podcast. And then bing, bang, boom, you're on the show.
Very cool.
This is like a fairly new thing that's going on right now, right? This light, or like I wouldn't say new, but it's becoming more, known. Like
Light therapy is ancient. It's been used since ancient Greece, Roman, Egypt. We know that they used certain types of light therapy, but only recently has the technology gotten to the point that we can oscillate LEDs. They have enough power up to 300 cycles per second, which the Ajna light does, which to us, anything over 30 or 60 looks solid.
Yeah.
But to your pineal gland, it's photosensitive enough. That makes a big difference. Guy Harriman developed the first Ajna light in 2014. So this is still very new.
Okay. I did actually forget to introduce Julia Gulia, as we call her at the show, at the coffee shop.
As you call her.
And just you.
It's starting to change. I think Aaron called you that the other day.
No, he calls me Julia.
Oh, okay. Well, Julia's here just for another witness to my demise.
Julia works with us at Crafted Cup.
Yes. So pineal gland activation, DMT. Now, that was the buzz word. It's not really a word, but it's a acronym that caught my ear. Now, pineal gland. I've been doing a lot of research on it, not like crazy, and I have all my notes up and everything on the just to make sure that I don't screw anything up. But from what I've read, there's not a ton of science that's dedicated to learning about the gland.
Like research?
Research. What did I say? Science?
You just said science.
Yeah.
That's pretty blanket.
Science. But the biggest thing is melatonin.
Well, melatonin and serotonin are both produced by the pineal gland.
Right. So, oh my God, is he going to do this? Shut up! There we go. So, anyway, I lost my train of thought now.
Melatonin, serotonin.
Melatonin, yeah. Where does the DMT come in?
So DMT, obviously there's, some amount of speculation in the scientific community especially as to whether or not dimethyltryptamine is actually produced by the pineal gland.
Okay.
And that's why,
I saw the eye roll. What's the eye roll?
Well, it doesn't make any sense to think. Where else is it coming from? I
Yeah.
mean, it makes so much sense. This is your literal third eye we're talking about.
Right.
And that it's photosensitive, that it's considered in many cultures, even ancient cultures, to be what's called the seed of the soul.
Okay.
And dimethyltryptamine is this very strange, it's the most potent psychedelic we know of.
And it exists in all vertebrae.
It exists
what was the word that they used here? You go ahead. It's
so
better.
much flora on planet Earth. There's so many different... there's no way you can make the plants that produce this molecule illegal. It's huge.
It says nearly all vertebrate species possess a pineal gland.
Yes.
And it's also in, a lot of the...
and I've even heard Joe Rogan say that in reptiles it has a cornea, retina, and a lens. There's a lot to this this particular gland that's very fascinating, and it's an eye pointed upward, that I understand.
It says here the most important exception is the hagfish, which is often thought of as the most primitive extant vertebrae. Even the hagfish, however, there may be a pineal equivalent structure in the dorsal dicephalon. I'm not. It's a crazy word. So, yeah, and also ayahuasca, if anybody's ever heard of that. The natives in South America use that the shamans in South America use that for, to cross to the spirit
thousands
realm.
of years. Yeah.
So, not to derail you, but I just looked up the pineal eye in some animal species. So, it's commonly called a parietal eye, also known as a third eye or a pineal eye, is part of the epithalamus present in some animal species. The eye is photoreceptive and is associated with the pineal gland, regulating circadian rhythmicity.
Ooh, that's a fun
never
one.
heard that one. And hormone production for thermoregulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very critically important.
So for us, it may be something that's vestigial in our body because amphibians especially represent much earlier in our development.
Well, just the serotonin, melatonin, right there, your whole circadian rhythm is based on those two compounds. And
which mine is royally fucked, by the way.
Well, you might try sleeping in perfect darkness.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I've tried everything. And if I take melatonin, it's bad. It's really bad.
It keeps me up whenever I take it.
I have night terrors, which is like one of the main things that wake me up all the time. And if I take melatonin, they're ridiculously worse. Yeah,
that's not cool.
No, when I wake my girlfriend up by dragging her out of the bed because I think the house is coming down around us, that's bad.
Yeah,
that's a perfect reaction. My reaction was belly laughter to that. But going back to the shamans in South America, they've figured out a way to extract the DMT from typical, from roots and this and that, and create a drink, ayahuasca. But apparently the specific combination of them creates a longer lasting effect. Like it helps your body slowly process DMT instead of processing it immediately. Like if you get it in street form.
You're comparing two different ingestion methods.
Yeah.
If you smoke DMT, then first of all, this is very illegal. But if you harness the crystalline form through what's called alkaloid extraction from any it's a dog tail. I thought there was a bug or something. From any of these DMT-containing plants, then what you get is a pure crystalline substance. And if you smoke that substance, if you smoke enough of it, you get what's called a DMT flash, where you're catapulted into a complete another dimension where you have absolutely no business being, and you're going to be lucky to retain 2 to 5% of that total experience, even after you've been there 50 times. It's the kind of thing that's extremely terrifying, and it lasts 5 minutes. And it can't hurt you, but, maybe psychologically.
Or if you jump out a window or something.
You're not going to You're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
You're not moving.
Oh, okay.
You're asleep for all intents and purposes. But when you do ayahuasca, this is a very it's not necessarily pleasant. It's a lot of people talk about the purge. What you do is if you eat DMT, if you consume it orally, the MAO in your stomach will break it up. So you have to combine it with an MAOI, an MAO inhibitor. And when you put these two things together, that is ayahuasca. And by consuming it this way, the DMT trip lasts closer to 3 or 4 hours. But yeah, violent purging, both ends, not fun, extremely. I mean, most people say it's a very healing thing, very close to. It's an extremely spiritual experience, but it's, first of all, there's legality issues, obviously, because we're in the States. And this is something that's traditionally shamanic practice, shamanically practiced around the world. But here in America and in the 21st century, where technology has kind of bypassed that need to worry about the law, this is such a great, healthy, positive alternative. It's not overwhelming. You're not subject to the moment you consume something, you're subject to metabolic reaction. So you have to, what that looks like coming up, peaking, plateauing, and then coming down, and maybe crashing depending on what you took. This does none of that. This is just
You're talking about the light therapy.
The light therapy, there's no metabolic. Your pineal gland is not going to produce more DMT than you can metabolize in like a couple of seconds.
Okay.
Just like when you're sleeping. If you wake up, you might be like still kind of dreaming for maybe 5-10 seconds.
That was this morning.
You know what I mean? And then it's over. And that's the strongest this light would ever get, or in my personal experience, has never been more than that.
Okay.
Never overwhelming.
Crazy. I'm really excited to figure it out. And you talk about, we were actually, you got something?
Yeah, I had just a couple of quick questions that would probably be like one-word answers.
Sure.
Can you do this to yourself?
Absolutely.
And you do?
I did
imagine.
today. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah. And what about when you're in the room? Because we're going to be in the room while you're activating his pineal gland.
So
is that going to affect us? Does it affect you?
The light is, unless you're epileptic, the light is behind a pyramid.
So it's like directional.
So it's directional.
Okay.
If I were to put it against this wall and aim it at the room, we'd all get it.
Okay.
But because it's going to be here against the table, aimed at him, even sitting next to him, I'm not going to get it.
Okay. Good.
Cool.
That was what I wanted to, because I want to be, I want to be observing, but I do want to do a session with you at some point because I'm very interested.
Absolutely.
Do you ever do, like,
Especially with the
group
night
sessions?
terrors.
Yeah.
I do. As a matter of fact, we just scheduled a
Let's
group
do
session.
a crafted cup group session.
Oh my God.
Everybody's really interested in doing it.
If I could plug, I just scheduled one with Rihanna at the Dreaming Goddess. 6:30 August 4th is $40, and you come get a 20-minute light session. Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody's...
Yeah, last week's guest notwithstanding, we love everyone at the Dreaming Goddess. So he was just bitching about crystals. It was very funny.
He's, Mac is... and I like calling him Mac. I don't like calling him Mike anymore. I like calling him Mac. Mac is very, very, very skeptical when it comes to energy, holistics, parallel dimensions.
You see, I am too, but I think that this has some scientific basis that I can latch onto.
That's
and I can
what
be happy
I
with.
was curious about because
a crystal on a string? I don't think so.
See, because
but that's again one man's opinion.
Adam's a strong skeptic of everything. Me, I'm a little bit more open-minded. Like you said, crossing over into a dimension where you don't belong. That kind of stuff, like that, I'm more open-minded to. Where I'm just kind of like, okay, so I'm not so arrogant to think that I'm not saying that you are, but you are. So arrogant to think that I can fully grasp what's going on. I can fully grasp a person's energy or like what goes, if there is just no science, like we break down, Hadron Collider, like looking into string theory and everything, like the deeper we go, the more questions, seem to pop up.
You see, and I don't want you to pigeonhole me that bad.
No. I'm just talking shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm completely open to it. You just got to show me something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all I need. You can't just say it and then just say, I'm just saying it. I'm just asking questions, man. That's my most hated thing. It's like you can't state it as fact until you got some facts.
Yeah.
And until then, I won't question anyone's beliefs or anything like that. It's just they need to completely be open to the fact that I just need a little bit more
convincing.
Yeah, that's all.
Sure. Data.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah.
I don't like numbers, but I like
because
I like something in front. I like to see something. That's why I want to see what you're going to do. I want to see what happens to him, and then I'll make my decision as to whether or not it's something I want to try. And then I will form my own opinion based on, because like the example that I always give, the only hallucinogens that I've ever done was morning glory seeds. I wanted to try shrooms, but I'm severely allergic to mushrooms.
Oh, that's not okay.
So it's not something I want to try.
No.
Because there's a good chance I won't have a reaction because it's a totally different type of mushroom than the
it's still fungus.
But it's not worth the risk.
Yeah.
So we did morning glory seeds, and I really hated it. And the discomfort that I felt due to like the stomach discomfort.
Yeah, you feel like shit.
Completely took me out of it, whereas they were completely tripping for 2 hours, and I was just out on the couch drinking a beer with everybody else.
Yeah,
with our babysitters.
Babysitters as my wife and his girlfriend at the time. But I've done that. Weed once in a while. I think it's LSA is the active component in morning glory seeds.
Lysergic acid.
Yeah. Instead of LSD.
Lysergic acid diethylamide.
Right. So
he knows his shit.
Yeah, that's this is fantastic because I don't I just know I just know bits and pieces. So yeah, it's we did that, a friend of mine, and we did it once and not a lot, just kind of mellow, and then we did a higher dose with him, and he just felt like shit. Couldn't get over.
People go to the hospital. That's a dangerous. Morning glory seeds are dangerous.
Yes, because the dosage, you don't know what there's no measurement of
pretty
doses,
important. Like if you're gonna, especially I think like if you're gonna be on a podcast talking about how you tripped on morning glory seeds, like you should preface that.
Oh yeah,
this is really dumb.
Yeah,
like,
it's legal. It's legal, but a lot of dumb things are legal.
Yeah.
So I'll describe my experience, and no one will ever fucking do it.
Okay.
So imagine a really, really the worst stomach ache you've ever had. Just imagine that, but you don't have to go to the bathroom and you don't have to throw up. It's just awful, and you just know that there's nothing you can do about it. Then, so everybody here's seen Fight Club. When he looks at the screen, he goes, "You're not your fucking khakis," and it goes like, and the whole screen starts to shake. If you look at anything for more than a half a second, it starts to do that. So you're constantly just scanning the room to stop that from happening. Then whenever anyone talks, you just want them to shut up. All you want to do is be in a dark room with your stomach ache and everyone leave you alone.
Which is what I did.
Yeah.
With my friend. He had just an iPod. We grabbed a little speaker, and he put on some shamanic drumming, and it was just him and I laying in a completely dark room, just with my hands folded over my chest. I didn't move for 2 hours. Didn't want to move because that's where I want. That's like I was like, I need to be isolated for this because I'm not feeling well, and B, everything is just too like crazy right now. I gotta just chill. So I sat in the room, closed my eyes, and it was great. I mean, again, it is dangerous.
Very.
And we didn't we used a lower dose from what we read on certain websites and this and that.
Arrowhead.
So, Arrowhead
is
actually.
great.
Yeah, that's actually what we, because they do like trial stuff where they test certain amounts on
It's all
people.
community.
Yeah, it's all community
But
stuff.
the problem with something like that is it's a plant. Unless you have a lab, you can't measure exactly how much you're extracting out of that seed.
Exactly.
I have morning glory growing all over my backyard, but that's not being grown somewhere in a commercial sense, having fertilizer dumped all over it and God knows what else. You know what I mean? So mine is probably not going to be as potent as something that's commercially made to sell to dumb kids who want to get high.
Yeah. Well,
and it's also probably manufactured differently for that purpose than for if you went to Adams Farraker Farms and bought Morning Glory seeds.
Yeah. So
so.
But that's the only one I've ever done. The psychedelic, I would say. So I mean, it worked.
I'm really surprised Ryan never talked you into psilocybin or anything like that.
He's tried. I just don't. I don't feel comfortable without like a sober person present to, in case I do something dumb, like I slip, fall, hurt myself or whatever, because I get, I'm a silly person. So I want to, I start acting silly and then I screw something up and I hurt myself and I want to go to the hospital immediately. I don't want to wait till I come down and then go, my ankle's broken. So, it's just, that's that kind of thing. Is what holds me back from it. So that's the only thing.
Depends on the person. Some people are more comfortable alone when they're tripping because they feel like if someone else was there, it would pull them out of it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be as, involved in their trip. They'd be worried about the other person and what the other person was thinking about them, if that makes sense. Like McKenna talked about liking to do as if he would do 5 dried grams of mushrooms in silent darkness alone.
So what's a typical dose for somebody?
That's a lot.
Well,
he called that a heroic dose.
Heroic dose.
Yeah.
That actually, I've heard that term.
It's over an eighth. It's over an eighth.
Yeah. Of mushrooms.
It's almost 2/8. Yeah.
And just sat alone in a room?
In a dark room with cannabis.
Whoa.
For, 7 hours.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Thoughts on that?
He
I
said it
feel
was
like
amazing.
I would just no matter what, even when I'm drinking, I like to have a guardian. I like to appoint a guardian at some point to be okay, this is the mom tonight.
Hold my wallet and my keys.
Literally. And so if I was doing a psychedelic, that's why I haven't. Because I'm just unless someone wants to be my mom and make sure that Julia doesn't end up in the middle of the street. I'm not going to do it.
Alcohol is really dangerous because it's intoxicating and removes your inhibitions and you're not really thinking.
Yeah, wait till the end of the show when he's had a couple.
Well, I
start saying some crazy shit.
I think the thing that everybody I think the reason that everyone, including myself, is more worried about psychedelics is because alcohol, you're able to ease into it maybe a little bit better. Just as a person, you're exposed to it more. It's not as much of a stigma kind of thing. It's not. It's more accessible, so it seems safer.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
I see it the exact opposite way. I see it as the path of least resistance is is the most destructive one. It's. I think that's one of the things that's inherently broken, because psychedelics are sobering. If anything, the most likely thing to happen, in my opinion, in a hardcore psychedelic experience is a panic attack.
Yeah.
If you go inside, and as soon as it starts, you start clicking off. Okay, God, how long has this been? I'm 10 minutes into this, and I'm already. You're just white knuckling through. That sucks.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not going to be anything like getting drunk and then falling down a flight of stairs. And I mean, most people aren't really inebriated on psychedelic.
Yeah. Well, I think you also only hear about the bad trips that people have.
Yeah. What about all the good trips?
Yeah.
And I also feel as someone who is prone to panic attacks, things like psychedelics where I have, when I'm having a beer, I can say, okay, I had 2 beers. Maybe, I can kind of gauge how I'm feeling with something like a psychedelic. I'm thrown into it. And that's why, for a while, I stopped doing everything. Because I was just I lose control. I don't like it. And so I feel and it's the same thing with the stigma. where when you're having like alcohol, you're like, okay, everyone drinks. But when you have a psychedelic, you're told you're going to have like a terrifying trip. And you think like the worst case scenario.
Oh, and
which like
that enters your mind too, you know, during the whole process. So then you start to freak out. It's a freak out.
For someone that shouldn't be doing it, it's a freak out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think Ryan is a good candidate for psychotropic drugs.
Yeah, because I just like loose. I think that's a big thing with me. It's just with that with that stuff is that I'm not afraid to just myself to just let go. I'll take the high. I'll take the trip, and I'll just go with it, see where it takes me. Lying in that little room, with all these crazy images, really vivid, wild images going through my head. I was like, oh, okay. So if I just, because the first time I was kind of like, oh, am I stoned? Am I not stoned? What's happening? What's happening? And then I kind of kept taking me out of it, But the second time I just let it happen. I was like, so this is how it has to be. You just have to let it go and know that, someone's in the other room is going to come check on me soon to make sure I'm not dead. And it'll be fine. And, as dangerous as it is to, try that stuff on your own, I will say I woke up 2 hours later and was like, I feel fucking great. I want a pizza. Who wants pizza? And everybody's just like, what? They're all drunk. You guys are drunk, playing way tired. And Anthony and I are just eating snacks in the kitchen. Like, that was great. What'd you see? I wrote it all down. Here. It was really kind of, I was like, all right, so now I get it. As long as you just, and I think that's always been my thought for you, is that.
I also had a severely injured ankle at the time, which I think wasn't the best time to do it. Yeah, I was in a ton of pain going into it.
All right, well, no, but that aside, I think with pot too, it's been like a control thing. I think you feel like
I just don't like it. It makes me sick.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, if I smoke weed, even stone cold sober, I am nauseous the whole time.
Really?
Yeah. It's just and it fucking stinks. I can't stand the smell.
I don't like it.
But I also the only time I've like seriously tried to smoke pot was like well after I quit smoking cigarettes, and now I can't even be around cigarettes. So I don't know if that's just the association, but I can't get past it. Just I don't know. It's like the same reason I don't fucking eat fish. It smells terrible. It makes me feel sick.
All right, well. He's driving me crazy, and we're about half an hour in. Do you want to take a quick
we
break
can take
now,
a quick break,
an early break, so you can set up and we can start doing this stuff,
and then we'll do a post-mortem.
All right, cool. Do you want to? Start some break music, and in the meantime, we could talk about. Real quick before you do that, it's pronounced. Say it again. Ajna. See, I said it right once, and now I can't say it right again. AjnaLightNYC.com is. We can give out your email addresses, right? Lightworker at AjnaLightNYC.com to give drop Will a line. William, or is it prefer William?
William's fine.
Drop William a line. Let him know if you want to come in and do some light-induced pineal gland activation. Operate out of if you're in Poughkeepsie, you operate out of Dreaming Goddess, correct?
You can make an appointment at the Dreaming Goddess Monday through Wednesday, or you can make an appointment with me directly, and I make house calls.
All right. Cell phone okay to go? Or this phone number okay to go?
Absolutely.
917-789-3644. 917-789-3644. Lightworker at AjnaLightNYC.com. Set an appointment.
Call or text.
Get deep. Go deep down the rabbit hole. All right. We'll be right back. God damn it. I'm going to fall for it every time now. Every time.
4 weeks now?
All right. We'll be right back.
I gaze across the sea of people raising up their hands as the barrel pointed at their heads. Blue plus underlay.
if I could help her with some gardening. Say I'm back from here, I'm gonna teach a thing. I'll give you a ring. An extra climbed up on the wall there. Watched her make love to the shower head. She spoke to me and needs all this espanol. Say it's time to go, it's a broken zone. And now it's time to go. This is Roseanne. She don't love me like you. This is Roseanne. She don't love me like you. She picked me up and knew she couldn't put me down. Took me to her house and she showed me around. She asked if I could help her with some gardening. Said you back up here, I'm gonna teach a thing. And I'll give you a ring. This is Roseanne. She don't love me like you. Mrs. 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 Roseanne. She don't love me like you. Her name was May, she was plain insane, and she just kept walking around. I wanna stay, I wanna make it okay, but she said it's too late for that now. And please wait, I swear to God it's not too late, and if you try we could save it somehow, man. I wanna say that if I had another day, I'd find her and figure it out. I don't know, and then she came, said what she said, walked straight out my door. And she came and she gave it all away. She's not here anymore. Oh yeah, she's 9 months out of life. Yeah, 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 she's 10 years out of time. I don't know. trying to bleed her conscience out. Or you could say she was looking for a way to try to calm her sadness down. And please wait, I swear to God it's not too late, and if you try we could save it somehow, babe. I wanna say that if I had another day I'd find her and figure it out. I don't know. And then she came, said what she said, walked right out my door. And then she came and she gave it all away. She's not here anymore. Oh yeah, she's 9 months out of life. Yeah, 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 she's 10 years out of time. I don't know. She was plain insane and she just kept walking around. I wanna stay, I wanna make it all okay, but she said it's too late for that now. And please wait, I swear to God it's not too late, and if you try we could save it somehow, babe. I wanna say that if I had another day I'd find you and figure it out. I don't know. And then she came, said what she said, walked straight out my door. And then she came and she gave it all away. She's not here anymore. Oh yeah, she's 9 months out of line. Yeah, 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 she's 10 years out of time. Oh yeah, she's 9 months out of line. Yeah, 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 she's 10 years out of time. I don't know.
What's up, everybody? This is Ryan Berberich from Long Trail Brewing Company, and you are listening to Dead Radio Podcast.
Thought this was appropriate.
Yeah.
All right. Check, check. Hey, hey. Oh wait, I'm turning down the wrong volume. I'm all giddy, so I'm making mistakes. All right, so we're back. I think the first thing we need to really drive home here is that if you are prone to epileptic seizures, this is the time to punch out.
Yeah.
Like, this is time to go have a sandwich for like 15, 20 minutes and, just chill and then come back later. Mm-hmm. And then you can hear about it all because it's going to be like a Pink Floyd concert in here, right?
It's going to be flashing.
Yeah.
So I do have to say real quick before we get this show started, my mother and my brother are watching us on the big screen, and she is not happy about this and thinks it's stupid.
Where'd she send that message to?
I know. Huh?
Where'd she send that message?
My email. She probably...
Oh, okay. Guys, message the show on Facebook.
She's the same person that said to buy shark repellent when I went surfing in Hawaii. I love you, Ma.
Sure, that works.
I love you. I love you. So, all right. So, I guess if anybody's watching the YouTube, you can't see it now because it's on Adam. The camera's on Adam, but it's going to come back to me, and it's going to look like I'm like an overzealous DJ. I have 2 sets of headphones on. I got my one for the radio show, and I got the others. Now, explain. William, you were talking to us about how like deep I'm gonna go and this and that, and how maybe the outside audio and me maybe talking or whatever might kind of disrupt the flow of the whole thing. So it's probably better. I guess it's better for the show for me to kind of be have some sort of deprivation.
I would rather
sensory
have a slightly boring 10 minutes on the YouTube, and then you come back and have had a better experience.
Okay.
So if you're going to be punched out of the show for 10 minutes or whatever, but then when you come back, you'll hopefully have more to say.
I don't think it'll be boring.
No,
he's going to be under, and we'll be talking. And, and that's going to be. There's going to be plenty of information about what's going on. And you had questions earlier. I'm sure you still have a few.
Yeah.
So it won't be boring.
Yeah.
So if you're watching, for the people listening, I know this is very much a visual podcast, but we do have people that download the show. I'm basically staring at a flat gold
You want
face.
me to explain what it is?
Yes, yeah, please explain it.
It's 5 10-watt LEDs in between 2 Tesla plates, which are atomically reconfigured aluminum to catch and direct what Nikola Tesla called the luminiferous ether.
Oh,
so these are Tesla plates.
This has got Tesla science.
These are Tesla plates.
I'm a big
and
fan
then
of Tesla.
This is all housed underneath this gold Fibonacci sequence pyramid. 4455 is the structure of the pyramid. And it's an actual 50 micron thick layer of real gold making that.
Good googly moogly. And what does all that mean?
This is just designed from the ground up by Guy Harriman to be a spiritual healing modality.
Okay.
That it's beautiful. I love this tool.
Oh man, yeah. It's so it's just sitting in front. I thought this was going to be like a bigger, I thought you're going to wheel in some kind of crazy contraption. I was going to have to sit in the couch over there, but I was
hoping we could lay him on the table, and it was like some sort of like crazy Daft Punk helmet. That's what I was hoping for.
All right, so I mean, okay, so what's next? What now? What do I do? What should I do
as soon as you're ready, I'll take a brief. It's going to be less than a total minute to guide you down into meditation. And then
I just want to fill you in on what your mom's saying. I reassured her that William has insurance, and she said yes. But he, meaning Ryan, only has one brain, and it's not really all there to begin with.
Oh, no. Some endorsement from Mom.
She's just worried about her baby boy.
Yeah. Well,
Ryan's the golden child.
Well,
he's accomplished so much. What is she going to do without him?
Well, here's the thing. She's got Kyle. So if I die, the seed goes on.
As long as she has the backup, really, it's fine.
So she's got a backup, so no big deal.
Perfect.
I'm sure these are the words she wants
Deb,
to hear.
none of us are worried. He does this like every day. He's going to be fine.
All right, so I'm gonna punch out here for I guess I'll just put this down.
Yeah. So and you will let us know what's going on, but we'll just we'll be quiet and let you do your thing for a few minutes.
Is it muted?
I mean, should it be?
Mute the mic.
Yeah.
Just because it's next to the power supply. Could we beep, 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 beep. Did they break? Let me see. They're old. Yeah, they're old. There you go.
So I'm putting on my headphones now.
I can't help myself.
So he's putting on his headphones now. We're getting everything ready. Everyone just be patient. It's going to be fine. Let me know when you're ready for me to pull the overhead lights.
Yeah, I can barely hear you. Okay, and you get the volume control. Now make sure it's all the way down.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Close your eyes. Probably want to hit the light. Just find that deep, healing breath. See as you inhale that the universe is filled with a pure, white, healing light. And as you inhale, allow this light to pour in through the top of your head. See it reaching deep for your core and saturating every cell you possess, feeding you and healing you in this process. Watch as this light floods your body. See that it gathers up and soaks in all negative energy that it touches. And with each exhale, allow this healing white light to carry any stress, worry, or concern from your body directly into the ground beneath you, letting the earth take these things from you effortlessly. Inhale the pure white healing light through the top of your head, and exhale it with all impurity out through the ground beneath you. please take this moment to free your mind of expectation and to set your intention on what you wish to gain during this session. If at any point the light is too bright, you're uncomfortable for any reason, or there is static in the headphones, please just let me know. With conscious intention, I now align myself with this tool in order to direct its healing properties towards you. Please feel free to slowly increase your volume now. He's still alive. Even by now, he's got to be feeling very relaxed. It's instantly relaxing.
So you explained what it is. Do you vary the frequency at all, or is it something that's preset?
So there are several preset sessions in the Ajna light. The computer's in the back. The Ajna light comes with the standard starter series that I give everyone is called Schumann, and it's a 10-minute session. That's one of the presets. Like I said, there's a lot of presets. This is, in my opinion and my personal experience, probably the most psychedelic preset that there is, especially a short one. There's not many. I don't know if there's another 10-minute session. It might be the only 10-minute session. It's really convenient for somebody who wants to try the light, who wants to understand and experience what the light is going to be able to do for them and what it's all about. After you've done 10 minutes of Schumann, this session, you have a very, very solid idea of what this particular device is actually capable of. That being said, there's a mixer. So that's okay. The light itself is capable of entraining brainwaves, which this is the point of this device, is a brainwave entrainment tool. It's capable of entraining brainwaves into subconscious states, which are delta and theta, then regular conscious states, which are alpha and beta, and then superconscious states, which are gamma and lambda. And this is these six states make up the entire frequency, the entire measurable frequency of our brainwave spectrum. And so delta is associated with heavy REM sleep, theta, extremely deep meditation, alpha is light meditation, beta is regular awake consciousness, high beta is stress, fear, excitement, multitasking, gamma is where savants typically operate. Incredibly, what is that?
See, so a little bit of a tech thing here. It just changed its frequency. So now to my camera, it just looks like a solid light.
Yeah, your camera's not going to be able to have the speed to capture that.
Yeah. So average person, it's not as measurable as like a frame rate, but a person sees at a minimum of like 120 frames per second equivalent.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize
but
that.
It all blurs together.
I thought after 60 it looks solid.
Yeah, well, that's the measurable amount. So like once you start getting down to under 120 frames per second and a camera pans, you can see little jumps.
Okay.
So then at that point, but a light is going to look solid at that kind of speed, but differing images are going to look different. And that's just like camera tech, whatever. That's why like movies are 24 frames per second. But now that we've gone to digital and the fidelity is so high, we've had to up the frame rates because you can see the jumps.
It's chopping.
Yeah. And for instance, we used to have LEDs in here until we started doing video, and it would flash in the video. So it was basically looked like this. So that was not usable, which is why we have fluorescence now.
Okay.
So
I was saying gamma is super conscious. That's where savants typically operate.
Yeah.
Very high cognitive functionality. So I'm an actor. I was able to memorize several massive monologues with this light in what would take me usually 2 or 3 weeks for the kind of material in a couple days by doing gamma sessions.
So how does that process work?
Well, for me, I mean, it was really just playing with my own personal. I write down my lines and then I record myself saying them, and then I would listen to my own lines while doing the gamma session. I did about 4 gamma sessions over 2 days that were a half hour each, and just pounding my lines as hard as I could, and I ended up, like I said, within about 2 or 3 days having them down pat.
Really? That's really interesting.
It was crazy.
That's insane. Do you know how that works, like, scientifically? Like,
I'm not 100% sure anyone does right now.
Yeah, like, I was just wondering if that, like, is, you know.
I think it's a relatively new thing to entrain people's brainwaves to a gamma state. But even less frequent is lambda, which is what this light is also capable of. And lambda states are between 100 and 300 cycles per second, associated with lucid dreaming, out-of-body travel. I think they've measured Himalayan monks melting snow off their naked bodies in the mountains are operating in a lambda state. And the lambda wave rides inside the delta wave. So it's to your brain very similar to being in heavy REM, but you're super conscious as opposed to completely unconscious.
That's interesting. One thing I would love to see, and again, I wanted to go into this fresh. I would love to see if you could set something like this up while someone's brain was being monitored.
Oh,
I don't see why you couldn't.
I think that I haven't actually read a lot of the practice that went into making this, but I'm pretty sure we've actually measured the brainwave states in order to kind of figure out and fine tune how these should be programmed. I'm really not, as far as the tech end of that, savvy. It'd be a great question for Guy.
Yeah. So the company that you work for, did they develop this, or is this the product that they're marketing? Or?
So Guy Harriman is a yogi. He's of Lana Yoga. He lives in Thailand, and he's just this very masterful being. He used to work for Steve Jobs designing chip software. And so he was kind of uniquely qualified to hold sacred space in order to receive this kind. He called this a 3-hour download. Those are his words. So I mean, it's spiritual technology. It's the future. He designed it. It's all him. Ajna Light is him, as far as I know. My company. My brand is Ajna Light NYC, and that's just because I was the first working Ajna Light in New York. Yeah. So why not, My girlfriend at the time, she bought the light, and she suggested the name, so I really couldn't argue with her.
So have you seen, I know you mentioned you were the only one really operating. Have you seen like an upswing in this? Is it like a...
Well, I sold a light. I sold a light in New York. Anybody can buy a light. They're $3,333 for this model. And that's before you get the arm. That's, there's certain things I would, when I sell it, it's like $3,500. Which is a commitment, but you realize that this is the kind of tool that can take you into a place where you develop a mastery of meditation at a much quicker pace than it would take if you just did it. It's a tool. It's not doing anything you can't do naturally.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I forgot your question.
I don't remember what it was either.
Interesting.
Do you remember what it was?
No, not at all.
Perfect.
I think it was competition. Like if this is becoming like a new thing. If you're seeing a lot of people doing this.
Well, not in New York.
Regardless of how it's working, I can tell he's like listing slightly to one side, like he wasn't before. So he definitely seems like he's fairly under.
That's it.
That's it.
That was 10 minutes?
That was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Here.
So immediate reactions.
I'll take the headphones.
Yeah. Where's my? Gotta see this. Woo.
Will it bug you if I turn on the light?
For a second, yeah. Oh wait, just turn it out for the sake of the show.
Mostly I want to get your reaction on camera.
Oh God. Well, first things first. I should have like locked this chair so my neck wasn't like I felt like I needed to be back like this, and I should have like positioned myself that way. But at first I was like, it's lights, and then all of a sudden I felt like somebody dumped a bucket of hot gel on the top of my head, and it's like warmth washed over me, and I couldn't feel a fucking thing. Like my limbs, nothing. All I could feel was the back of my neck here. But the lights, what did it look like here? Is it changing colors too?
No.
It's just
a white LED.
Pure white light.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm seeing all kinds of crazy colors.
So it started off at like a constant strobing, and then it started to change.
Well, it wasn't
about like halfway through, maybe.
Yeah, not even halfway. Well, I don't know.
You have no idea.
I have no idea. Time's gone.
That goes through 8 changes twice.
Yeah, that felt like 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm. That's probably
Anywhere
about
from
how
3 to
long it took you to get into it.
Yeah, it just all of a sudden, once I felt that warmth, like kind of wash over, I was just like, ooh, okay, what's this about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to do it again in like a more like I want to be like a little more comfortable. I think that was another thing because my neck is fucking sore.
A lot of people like to lay down.
I couldn't feel it really, but damn, now it's like super tight because I was holding up. But yeah, the colors, it's all like wild colors, geometric patterns, and it's like this weird kaleidoscopic effect around the outside of my vision. And in the center, and it was funny, if I moved my eyes one way or the other, it would change the image completely. So it would, like if I went this way, if I looked this way, everything would go like red and black, and then the other colors would start coming in, but it wasn't as intense if I was like focused straight. But then there were these weird kind of images, almost like an old like flip book or like an old movie, just a shitty old movie, and like a flip book and animation going on. But it was little like streams of light, like they all of a sudden started moving a lot more rapidly, and they were creating these weird images that I couldn't quite make out. It looked like a person like laying down, and then just moving in, this way and that way. But yeah, other than that, Jesus, that was like the most relaxed I've ever been. I felt like I was just in a warm bowl of pudding. It was great.
Were you like at all aware of us? Like
I could hear you, but it didn't matter. Like it almost was just like I was like, let these fuckers yap all they want. I couldn't hear you that well. Like just certain parts I could hear, like just kind of like in the background. But it was just like, oh, these bastards, they have no idea. Shut up. I'm trying to pay attention. Be quiet, But it didn't really take me out of it. I could still, just numb, completely numb from the, neck down, or the collarbone down, because I could still feel my neck.
So, as soon as it stopped, did it instantly end?
As soon as you turned off the light, it was just black, and I was like, I'm awake. It just like I wanted to pop back up. I don't know if it was just my reaction because I knew,
got to get back to the show.
Yeah, the show's on. We're live.
Most people take a couple minutes.
Yeah.
There's still, I mean, in my experience, every time I do a session, as soon as the session ends, there's a lot going on, and it's like when you're first waking up, your alarm goes off, but as long as you keep your eyes closed, you're still in like dreamland.
Okay.
And if you open your eyes, you'll come right out. You can resist the light the entire time. So just because it ended, It's like a great reason to like, all right, snap out of it. I've got work to do.
Yeah.
But if you give into it just the same as you did when you started, at the end, I mean, that's the whole point of meditation, is to let go, to release, to
Right.
exist without any effort.
Right.
You're not trying to do anything. As a matter of fact, you're trying not to try to do anything, if anything.
Right.
Like that made sense.
Yeah, it was really fucking interesting. I want to do it again. Like I want to do it like immediately again, just in a better like setting. Like if I could lean back. That's all I really needed.
Is that an actual request? Do you want me to turn the light back on?
I don't know. Was that a lot for you guys or what?
I don't know if I have any more questions.
Well, I guess my big question is, how did you get into this? Like, what made you want to, is there...
That's a very loaded question.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, I've got my whole life path. Like, I was, I've been on a shamanic path since I had my first near-death experience when I was 12.
Is comfortable talking about that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was
what
in a
happened?
fatal car accident. And it was a bloody, messy experience. I was unconscious for more than 30 seconds. But when I came out, it was very graphic and horrible, and the kind of thing that built into me a certain. It just set me on a path. I was literally reborn. And from that moment, when I came upon my second near-death experience, thanks to alcohol, when I was 22,
Jesus,
I entered the recovery process and I started very spiritually defining myself.
Okay.
And then I came upon it was the 16th anniversary of that car accident this past August, coming up on the 17th now. And I had a very psychedelic experience, and I kind of relived the whole thing and realized that I'd been on this path pretty much my whole life. And I was born with very severe OCD, schizophrenic tendencies, bipolar, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot wrong, diagnosably wrong with me.
Uh-huh.
And this kind of, once again, set me, it's just kind of this perfect combination. So I was dating this girl, and I was unsure how I was going to turn this into a career, and we ended up going to the Chapel of Sacred Mirrors, where Dennis McKenna mentioned a light that he had tried in the UK that was like the DMT experience without the body load. And as soon as he said that, the entire room of people went and looked up the Ajna light, and they saw the price tag, and they all just closed the browser. But my girlfriend at the time was this basically a philanthropist, just smacks my leg. She's like, "This is why we're here."
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so perfect the way that it came. It couldn't have been a better. It was exactly what I was just set up. And as soon as I got the light, it was only about 2 months, and I had clients. I had my first light sale. I came here. I got into one crystal shop, and then I'm in the Dreaming Goddess, and it's been just overwhelmingly supportive. The entire universe has kind of come around. My personal universe has come around me to just hand me every inch of support that I've needed along this path, and I'm feeding myself with it. It's amazing.
Jeez, that's wild, man. It's a crazy story.
It's out there. It's out there.
And
it's loaded.
you took a gamble.
Yeah.
It wasn't a gamble for me.
Yeah,
it was an
it was
investment. It was like an angel investor. There was no gamble.
Hmm.
There was, because before that, just because of the car accidents, there's PTSD, and I'm disabled. Haven't really had. I've never really been able to have like a regular job, sleep issues, and anxiety, and all kinds of stuff. And traditionally, plays into the path of the shaman is someone who's broken to the point of non-functionality, going inward and repairing themselves.
Right.
And then being able to provide that sober, clear, rational reflection to someone who's in that broken state, in order to show them that not only is it possible, but how it's done and the steps in which it's done. It's all about letting go of fear and a radical acceptance of your own nature. A lot of people are sensitive, and they see things, they hear things, and then they go to a doctor, and the doctor tells them, those things aren't real. That's not real. You need to ignore that. And that doing that, telling someone that their experience is not valid, does nothing but alienate and terrify them.
Mm.
So when they come to me, I'm no doctor, but I can sit there and I can say, listen, I've been to these dark recesses of reality, and I've been suicidal. I've been all this stuff. And all I did was let go, let go, let go, appreciate, be grateful for, recognize that, you know, how much worse it could be. I mean, we could all, any one of us, you know, bickering about the Western world, could be living in some South African country where murder is, you know, regular, and almost everyone has AIDS, you know, and it's like this terrifying paradigm of God only knows. We're like babied over. There's like kid gloves, you know. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have really hard, serious issues, but I'm happy to hold space for people that are suffering and provide them with a safe, easy psychedelic experience that they can go into for self-healing.
That might be a nice title.
What?
A safe, easy psychedelic experience.
Yeah, that's a great title. I love
exactly
that.
what it is.
Whew. And god damn, like I feel like, I don't know, it's like I don't know, I just feel like really super relaxed. Like, you know, on the show, I'm usually like kind of schizophrenic when I'm doing the show, because I'm trying to monitor this and I'm trying to monitor that. This, like, I feel like,
Should
like,
last days.
Yeah?
Yes.
Like,
and you
feel
should
really,
sleep better.
You guys feel like you're floating?
Yeah.
Like
well, that's what everybody said that we talked to at the Dreaming Goddess.
Oh, yeah, because you know damn well I was just like, so what's the deal with this? And every single one. Every single
even the
person.
credible ones.
Oh, man. That's mean.
No, I kid.
But, yeah, everybody was just like, oh, my God, it feels great, you know. I felt good for a month. I think Nicole said that. She was just like, I do it all the time. It puts me on the right path for like months.
They love it. They call it the beach nap.
The
they
beach
say
nap?
it feels like you just woke up from a really sweet beach nap.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound relaxing to me. I hate the beach. I don't understand it. Laying in the sun just doesn't sound like fun to me.
Sand everywhere.
Yeah, just sand.
I like the beach.
I live for that.
I like the beach.
I'm
well,
all
totally different topic.
You don't like pot, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's weird all by itself. Who doesn't like pot?
It's the easiest thing in the world to like. You're just
Yeah. Every high schooler likes pot.
Yeah, there's just nothing bad about it, really. It's just,
I don't know.
There was
you
more
know.
bad pot than good pot though when I was in high school. It's not like it is now.
We are in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah, where it's like the good stuff smelled so bad I couldn't even be in the room with it, and nowadays everything's kind of good. You know,
Fair enough.
Airbnb.
Nice.
Telling how our latest guest felt. Yeah, all I want to do is, I just really want to try it again. I mean, we don't have to do it on the show. I don't want to take.
No, I'm definitely going to do it. That being said, I'm sure a lot of our listeners are wondering roughly how much does this cost, availability, that kind of thing. If you want to give a proper plug,
if you'd like to.
Yeah, sessions are $2 a minute, and like I said, I'm available to come to your house, or you can come to the Dreaming Goddess. I'm hoping to have some more space soon, but. We love the dream. We love to make appointments at the Dreaming Goddess.
Well, they have it set. They have. I saw kind of the room that you have
got
set
a
up.
Sweet setup.
Yeah, it's like a nice, relaxing, kind of cozy little spot.
Most people come in,
Smells
do
good
20
there.
minutes. It smells great.
And then when you're done,
everybody's
you can
nice.
come next door to the Crafted Cup and get a delicious beverage.
You can get a delicious beverage to kind of and sit there and contemplate what's going down. So.
What are you? I mean, you definitely said like drinking is a bad idea before you do this. Obviously,
so
it makes sense. I mean,
you can't have a family history of epilepsy.
Mhm.
You can't be taking any antipsychotic medication. Those are dangerous. No, it's not dangerous. The pills are dangerous. And you can't have any alcohol the day of your session.
Okay.
If you're going to have one early in the morning, you should probably avoid drinking late the night before as well.
Yeah.
The reason for that, I mean, did you
I
feel
thought you
any
meant
movement?
like if you're going to have a drink early in the morning.
Movement? What do you mean movement?
Did you feel movement in your body as if you were on a roller coaster or anything like that? Maybe not that intense, but any kind of movement at all.
I felt like I was like I felt like I was in like a wind tunnel or something where I was like, I felt like brushing against me, like I was moving forward, but I knew I wasn't moving forward. So every time I felt that, I was just like, you're not moving forward. I thought that in my head, and then it kind of went away, and then it would start to creep in again. I kept getting distracted by that thought that kept popping in my mind. But I was also, like I said, I was a little more conscious because I was like, I could still feel my neck tensing from not being able to lean back all the way. So I kind of
so we should have done it in that chair.
Yeah, we should have.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know,
That's
I
a
could
really
put the
good
table.
point. Well, I have a tripod in the car.
Yeah. Oh, you got one of. That's
have
what
a
I thought
tripod
you were
in the
going to
car.
bring.
Oh,
one
you
of the
could have
big
clamped
tri-
it to this thing too.
Yeah.
It's a light stand. Yeah.
No.
Well.
But yeah, I did feel like kind of like something like brushing against me, my chest and shoulders, like moving me forward, but not like. I mean, what would some people say they feel?
I haven't actually, I don't give light sessions to people who've been drinking, but I'm pretty sure, just undergoing it myself, a lot of the time I feel movement. I feel movement forwards, backwards, sideways, sometimes spinning. It's never a bad thing. It's never nauseating, but it's, slight vertigo. And if you are drinking, I can only imagine it could probably make you sick.
So it's not really a safety thing. It's more, I don't want you to throw up on my $3,000 light.
I'm not 100% sure if it's. I've never actually. The only one I questioned Guy about was the antipsychotics because I had someone on them who wanted to do a session.
Yeah.
But if you're drinking, I mean, if you're such an alcoholic that you can't take a day
for a
off
day.
of alcohol, then you might have a seizure.
Yeah, I just can't
anyway.
take a Monday off.
Earlier, you said that it was like gamma was something about like lucid dreaming.
Lambda.
Does this could this make you like lucid dream or?
So astral projection is something that a lot of people who come to the light, they're looking to have an out-of-body experience. And around 5 to 10% of people that I treat every week that I administer a light session to, they will have an out-of-body experience where oftentimes they'll encounter entities, whatever. I personally have a hard time getting into those kind of spaces, and the lights helped with that. But Lambda sessions are supposed to, like I said, we have a mixer. So we can go into the mixer and we can set up a 1 or 3 stage light session that's custom with the exact frequencies that you want. So you could start, since you're already in beta, you could start with, say, like an alpha/theta session, and then have the next stage be delta, which is heavy REM, and then the next stage be lambda, which rides inside of delta. And that would be one way that I would like mix a session up in order to try to get somebody into that state. It does say in the manual for the Ajna light that you shouldn't give anyone who isn't an experienced meditator a lambda session.
Okay.
So
is there any specific reasoning, or it just says you shouldn't?
It says you shouldn't. I haven't actually questioned Guy about that either, but I would assume that there's a good chance. I find lambda to be the most resistible setting. It looks solid. It looks like solid white light. So if you're sitting in front of it and you're doing lambda and you're expecting to get what you just got out of it, all of these incredible colors and this incredible shapes and patterns, you might just sit there and get disappointed. You might,
So maybe starting off with something else and then going into it. Yeah.
That's, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's not hard to. A lot of people think it's hard to develop a practice meditating. I think just the opposite. I think it's very easy to meditate. It's very hard to try to meditate because you can't try and meditate at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like if you zoned out in high school when you're like sitting there and you just kind of start drifting, that's kind of where I like to get to. I like to get to that state where I can't feel my body. I'm not aware of my surroundings. I honestly don't care at all. Even without the light, I honestly don't care at all. I'm in a very balanced, grounded posture, and I'm just breathing. And that's it. And any thoughts come in are going out just as fast. Anything coming in front of my eyes is coming in front of my eyes, and I'm not trying to see anything or care or move them. I'm not scanning. I'm not listening, but anything my ears are picking up, they're picking up. And the less I judge any sound, the less that I judge any sight or thought, the less that I'm extending any effort out into the universe. And so I'm sitting there practicing effortlessness. And when I explain meditation as that way to people, they kind of, have you ever heard like Zen koans or like what is the sound of one hand clapping?
Yeah.
Well, the idea of staying in your breath is basically,
Sorry, I can't help it. I gotta go for the joke.
We had to bring it to a stupid level for a second. Yeah, I do get that. And meditation was something that was very difficult for me as a younger. I did martial arts for many years.
Okay.
And it was very difficult for me as a young person until all of a sudden it just clicked one day, and it was just kind of concentrate on your breathing until what worked for me. Obviously, it's different for everyone. It was just concentrate on your breathing until you don't think about anything else, and then eventually you can start to let that go, and then you don't think about anything, and then it's sort of, and I still do it to this day because I don't sleep. I have horrible insomnia, and that's the only thing that can get me there a lot of the time. So
you'd love this.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to try it.
Actually, the way you described like the white light coming to the top and being, dispersed to the ground and everything, that's how I learned. I mean, like, when I told you I was doing the Wiccan stuff, that was actually kind of, that was a meditation thing that I read in a book. It was basically fill your, I picture whenever I meditate like that, and that's kind of what I took from what you were saying to me. I was just like, okay, I think I know what he's talking about. I picture my body filled with blackness, just, darkness, and then I just push it down into the ground, and where this is all like just visuals that I use in my head to get me to the space that I need, get me to a nice space, and then it disperses into the ground. Visualize it changing into the color that you're seeking, I guess. I don't know. That's how I always looked at it. Purple, silver, blue, green, whatever, and then have it fill you back up. But I was, just going by what you were saying, using kind of the same technique, and I think that actually helped me out a lot, just knowing that little bit. So that helps. But meditation's not like you actually were taught.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In class.
The funny thing is we would meditate at the beginning and at the end, and it's just to kind of, center yourself, leave everything from outside, and then concentrate on what you're doing in the studio. But then you'd once in a while somebody, they'd say, okay, everybody up, and somebody would just still be sitting there and they wouldn't hear it at all. And that's when they really accomplished what they were going for. But we used to do sessions with Master Baron where it was an hour of just meditation after class. And that was very difficult for me at first, and then it became...
I was going to say, it must have been miserable. You're sitting there with your eyes closed for an hour. How'd you not fall asleep?
Sometimes you do.
Nothing's happening.
But that's the thing. Sometimes you do. But it's kind of a different... there are parts of your brain that are a lot more awake, and you're still sitting up. But it's not really sleep. It's very, very deep.
It's a
meditative
theta state.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. But there would be times when it never happened to me in class, and I kind of wish it did, because it would happen to some people, and okay, everybody up, we're going to start class now, and there'd still be somebody sitting there, and we'd move to the other room and just let them be. And that was pretty cool. Could you imagine?
I would be in the fly on the wall when that fucker came out of it. It was like,
no, he'd be the one. He'd be the one who I'm tired today. I'm going to pretend I am meditating. I don't feel like doing jump spin kicks right now.
Well, imagine you sit and you're meditating. You're in a full class of people dressed in gis and everything like that, and then you open your eyes and no one's there. It's like a scene out of the fucking Matrix.
How long have I been here?
Yeah, how long before you start trying to move shit with your mind? Oh man, wild. But yeah, I right now I feel super relaxed. I don't know.
So
tell by my body language.
The question coming in from your mom is, was the experience better than Rammstein?
Yeah. It's two different experiences. Like in this, I'm like super relaxed.
It's apples and German death metal.
Yeah, like with this, I feel super relaxed, super calm. Like just like I feel like every muscle in my body, there's no tension. I'm like all like limp and everything like that. But at Rammstein, it's basically like, holy shit! Holy shit! The whole time. Yeah, it's just fucking white knuckle fireworks and explosions and stuff. So yeah, apples and German death metal.
Yeah.
It's two sides. Yeah. completely different sides of the spectrum. Yeah, that was like, you know, actually it's kind of interesting. Like I got that like crazy, insane experience last night that I'm going to remember to the day I die. And then I have this experience, which is the complete opposite side. So this huge adrenaline, like crazy rush of this whole big performance. And then this nice little power down. This is actually really nice. I saw this.
Yeah, it's got a heart on it.
This came up. I saw this. I saw a heart in this shape, like instead of like a bulbous, like a wide heart. There's a very slender heart on the side of the connector that plugs into the light panel.
It's a VGA cable.
Yeah, a VGA cable. And it's like this slender heart, but the one I saw was like geometric, changing colors, flashing kaleidoscopic and everything, and it would all of a sudden just dissipate. And then, you know, other images would come. And then all of a sudden, it almost like every time I reset, that would pop back up. I don't know. Maybe it was like a leftover subconscious thing. I kind of, because I did notice it. I'm like, oh, look at the heart. And then I closed my eyes and then we were off. But that kept coming back into view. Like big, huge, like filling up my vision with this. And it would be red and dark blues. And then behind it would be like greens and whites.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, really wild. Oh, Jesus.
Awesome.
Blowing my mind, man. So, oh, God damn. Yeah, it just like, I just want to go up and sit on my new big, fat, comfy couch. Just mold into it. Yeah, I definitely want to absolutely try it again in a more relaxed setting. And I think it, honestly, you know, my mom, she's a huge skeptic, of course, but, I mean, felt fine. Like I didn't feel like I was being like.
That's the thing. There was never a point in any of this where I thought it could ever be dangerous.
Oh yeah, we just
talk
shit, and that's what we do. You know.
But yeah.
No, this is extremely safe. I like to compare it to Reiki, where like Reiki, the point of Reiki, or in my opinion, one of the best things about it is it can do no harm. This is not going to do any harm to someone who meets those qualifying factors. You're not going to get hurt.
I don't even have like those light dots, micro dots, or whatever the hell. You know when you stare at a light bulb, and then you go and stare at something black, and you can actually
retinal
see.
Impression.
Yeah, it's
was it retinal?
If you opened your eyes, you probably would.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, but that's the thing.
You definitely would.
Yeah, it's diffused through your eyelid.
Yes.
Right.
So you're not going to have that.
Well, what I'm getting at is like you're not. It's like I didn't feel like my retinas were being burned out. Like I was staring into the sun. Like even if you stare into the sun with your eyes closed, it gets to the point where you're just kind of like Jesus, and you got to turn away.
Staring into the sun is good for you when it's low in the sky. So a lot of people are sun gazing is a very healthy practice.
I actually came across that as part of just learning about the pineal gland and
it's because it's diffused through so much more atmosphere.
So many people are terrified to look at the sun.
Yeah, you when it's highest in the sky, obviously there's X amount of atmosphere diffusing it, but then there's hundreds of times more when it's on the horizon because it's hundreds of miles away.
Yeah,
you know.
Hundreds
of miles farther away.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the sun is a lot more than hundreds of miles away.
Oh,
I am aware of that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got confused for a minute.
No, it depends hundreds of miles to the horizon.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these flat earthers believe it's on rails, something like 3,000 miles away.
That sounds right to me.
The aliens have it on.
I can't imagine that's untrue.
The aliens have it on. The aliens have it on rails. Yeah, they have it on like a track, like an old fucking play.
I mean, I only have. You want to talk about skepticism? I only have one argument that has completely, as far as I'm concerned, any flat earther. You know, go ahead. If they had that kind of control, no one would talk about it.
Yeah, of course.
Because the moment anybody talked about it, they'd be a memory.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can seriously. Okay. There's a hobby shop in Poughkeepsie. It's right by Halftime. You can go there and you can buy a rocket and you can put a fucking camera on it and you can fly it to near Earth orbit.
They do this all over YouTube.
Yeah, you can fly it to the upper troposphere and then retrieve the goddamn camera via GPS. Fucking Tosh.0 did it. He sent a bomb pop into space and recovered it and ate it, and then they watched the video. It was a camera pointed at like the ice cream truck bomb pop, the red, white, and blue one.
Yeah.
Shot it all the way up into space, recovered it, watched the video, and ate the fucking thing. Come on, the Earth isn't flat.
That's
Seen
why
it.
he's got his show.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Smart.
What about the guy? Okay, you could say it's a American conspiracy, blah blah blah. What about Red Bull? Red Bull sponsored a fucking guy to jump from the upper troposphere. You know,
I mean, I've
that
seen
guy
videos.
he could see 60% of the Earth, 60% of that side of the Earth. You know, that's crazy.
I've seen videos on YouTube of people they take drones way up, and they're flat Earth videos, and these people are convinced that they're proving that the Earth is a flat plane.
Oh yeah, it's
it's
super easy. You use the lens correction button in Premiere Pro CC, and the horizon goes from round to flat.
Right, and they think that just having the way that the lenses are is part of the conspiracy.
That's so stupid.
It's wild. There's a lot of stuff like how far you can see over the horizon. If you look at the ocean, like they zoom in and they can see like bridges that are like 20 miles away, and that you're only supposed to be able to see about 2. But I mean, there's just I don't know. It
doesn't make any sense because planes fly around the world.
My problem is
there are planes that do it all the time.
From what I've seen, my problem with the whole flat Earth thing is these people, most of them, don't believe in outer space. And if there's no outer space, that's a problem. That's a really big problem.
So what's the explanation for there's no space?
That E.T. are demons, and we live in that much of it. We are in the Matrix.
This is the dumbest conspiracy theory out there.
Right. I would agree.
Like
I'm
people,
sorry.
9/11 truthers are
fly.
fucking geniuses compared to these guys. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Well, I don't. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't really want to touch that too much, but the flat Earth thing that's ridiculable.
It's just one of those. You're not proving anything because every bit of proof that you're providing can be easily explained without me even single keystroke on the internet. That's correct because of these 35 fucking facts that I know.
Like I
incontrovertibly.
said, if it was that kind of control, the moment anyone became savvy, they'd be toast.
Yeah.
They'd have an aneurysm.
And what's
they would
the
just
point?
drop dead.
What's the point? What's the end game?
There is none.
Yeah.
If that's the case, it's for the amusement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, who cares anyway?
I just don't know the contrary. Like when they say, "Oh, the Earth isn't," or "the Earth is flat." Okay, then what? Like,
yeah, what's the plan?
And
what is
where do
it?
we go with that?
Super.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it.
And it's just like the drone that you flew up to prove that to me is regulated using hundreds of GPS satellites that are flying around the planet,
orbiting
at hundreds and hundreds of miles an hour, thousands of miles an hour in some cases, orbiting around the Earth.
Orbiting.
Yeah.
Orb.
Yeah, they can't really hang there.
Suggesting a spherical motion.
Yeah. You're flying your DJI line of sight with no GPS because if you're using GPS, you just fucking threw your whole argument out the window.
Right. Yeah. Global.
Global positioning system.
Right. Yeah. It would be planar.
Planar positioning system.
Right. That might be a hashtag.
Oh man.
I hope you guys want to have me on again. This is fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to have you on just to tune up some other people.
Sure, that'd be great. Yeah, I'll give free sessions on the air.
I'd like to have my mom on to do it.
Hey,
how fucking great would that be? She's talking all this shit. Why don't you come put your money? Come put the Ajna light where your mouth is.
Put your retinas where your mouth is.
That's it.
I have a general, not to be serious when you guys are playing around, but I do have a general rule that if somebody's resistant to it, I never push.
Oh, okay.
I never push.
Well, and another thing is if you with many things like this, hypnosis being one of them, and I think a lot of this has kind of maybe the same tie-ins to the parts of your brain that allow you to become hypnotized. If you're really resistant to it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could resist it.
Yeah. So, and that's why, I wanted to see it happen. I want to get a feel for it, take away from it, and then go into it. Because there are a lot of things where I was like, that's crazy. I'm not doing that. But this, I think that, from what you described from your experience, I think it's completely reasonable to assume that it's real and I will experience the same thing. Well, but if I see it and I go, well, that's stupid, and I go into it thinking that, it's probably not going to work for me,
Go ahead, please.
Have you ever done it with someone who is like, maybe not like completely skeptical, but like on edge about it? They're like, I don't know if this is real. Like,
yeah, twice. 2 people when I was at the flea market, and I wasn't in a crystal shop, and I wasn't making appointments. People contacting me. Flea market's the kind of place like people are going to buy junk, and they're not really looking for a spiritual experience.
It does make sense.
So I'm handing out cards, and I got this one older gentleman. He wanted to try it. He got in. He did 10 minutes. He came out. And he goes, I don't feel any different. But he looked like you. He looked really relaxed. And I'm like, what are you going to say? You lack self-awareness?
Yeah.
That's not polite. So he went away, and then like 2 weeks later, I had a younger guy. I think he was a combat veteran. He's about my age. He came in, he did 10 minutes, and he left, and he goes, I didn't feel anything. I feel no different at all. And I said, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Here's my card. Let me know if anything changes. You feel any different later. I walked away, bought a cookie, and got a text 5 minutes later from that guy. It worked. I was just impatient. Literally, like, you ever drink and then, like, you don't realize how drunk you are until you get off your bar stool to go urinate?
I'm pretty aware of what's going on.
I know what you're saying.
It's
though.
like
that's happened to me.
He got up
pot
and
brownie thing. I don't know. It's
shit.
not working. What's happening? And then you eat 4 pot brownies, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, I wish.
Never have 4 pot brownies.
Why
as
not?
A rule.
Brownies rule.
Listen,
brownie. I can't eat 4 brownies.
I can have a quarter of a brownie, and then I'm high for the next 3 days.
Brownies in general are too sweet for my stomach.
So, oh God, what was I gonna say? I lost my fucking train of thought. A good candidate would be Ryan. Would actually probably enjoy this. A friend of ours is a vet of the Iraq War. And
sure. Anybody with PTSD, anybody in recovery, anybody with anxiety, anybody with depression. This is such a powerful healing modality.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having a panic attack?
Yes.
And sitting in front of this light, and how coming out of it, how you feel now.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to really try to stay anxious.
Yeah.
Ryan,
yeah.
Is this a clean cup?
That last one is yes.
Yeah.
This is like I would do this on. What days do you do this? Again,
I do this every day, but at Dreaming Goddess, I'm there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh, okay, so Monday, I would do this before the show. This is something that I would probably do before I did a show. Like the certain guests that come on. Sometimes I'm a little like I'm not sure how to feel them out and everything like that, because I don't typically meet the guests usually before they come on. Sometimes they're a little bit intimidating because they're smarter than me, or maybe they're not. I'm not sure if they're gonna.
Never the other way around though.
No, never. Or I'm not feeling like they're gonna be receptive to how much we joke and everything like that. So I worry. So this would be a nice thing to do before a podcast to kind of get me in just shake off everything else and just kind of
$3,333. Get one of these.
I recommend people who like it as much as I do, or people who want to pursue it entrepreneurially. That's a worthwhile investment.
Oh, for sure.
For me, this light's paid for itself. It paid for itself in about 2 or 3 months. And that's
that's an amazing return, because I buy something like this, it takes me 2 months for it to pay for itself again. So that's definitely a
and
good
that was
return.
just I've only been doing this about 6 months. Coming up on 7 now. So the fact that it paid for itself in the first 2 or 3, you think about the scale. I mean, it's only that's a cumulative.
Yeah, now it's all profit.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
And it's the kind of thing that if you love this so much that you want to mount it above your bed and do it every single night or every single morning when you wake up, or you want to do it just every day, then it's worth buying one. But what I do is and if you also want to do what I'm doing, if you want to try to make a career out of it, because who wouldn't? I don't know why more people aren't doing it, and I wouldn't see it as competition.
Yeah.
You know, I want to spread this. Anybody wants to go out there, buy one, buy one.
Can you imagine like turf wars over this?
No.
It'd be like the most laid back version of Breaking Bad.
Like, dude, I just really want
like,
to like shine my light.
So you know what? It's totally cool. You just go over there and I'll be here. Just you be right there and I'll be here, and it'll be great. As opposed to get out of my territory.
And blowing up people's cars.
I'm an extremely high demand.
Yeah.
So I don't see
Braggart.
any limitation or, you know, I want it to blow up. I want it to go all over. But what I was saying was, you know, it's for the investment, for the cash to dollar ratio. If it's something you want to use every day, it's worth it. If it's not, if it's something you want to use like, it's, you know, a lot, then I'm happy to sell you a package where you'll save up to 25% and buy, you know, so many minutes, depending on how many minutes you're willing to purchase in advance.
So basically what Ryan did would have cost him $20.
That would have been
retail.
a $20 session. Yeah.
Okay.
And
do you feel that was worth it? Like something you would definitely do for $20?
I think if in the right setting, yes. I don't think like that right there was.
You'd rather not be in a chair in your basement?
Yeah, like I think it's definitely worth
somewhere more relaxing.
It's absolutely definitely worth $20. Just like I'm already ready to go. Here's 20. I want to go back under and like kind of like I want to go deeper. Like, you know, and that's kind of my personality. I'm like, oh, I'm alive. Okay, one notch down now. One notch deeper, and then deeper until I go, that was bad. Let's back it up. You know, that's kind of how I am. So like, I want to see the imagery more clear. I want to get into a deeper state.
Oh, this is an art.
Yeah.
I don't know what you've heard about DMT, but I'm convinced that there's nothing in that experience that can't be tapped here.
Yeah.
I'm convinced of that. It's a matter of how much you can let go and go in there and then kind of coax it into reality in your own way.
It's a little bit more of a give and take situation than just smoking some crystal DMT.
I mean, dude.
Yeah, I think it takes a little bit more skill for the person who's going for that, for sure.
And here's the thing is if you smoke crystal DMT and you try to resist that, hell ride.
Yeah,
hell ride incoming. The most beautiful thing about this is that you can resist this and you won't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
You can't resist a psychedelic experience. Once you've put something in your body,
you strap
any
down the
amount of
jetpack.
resistance is really, really uncomfortable.
Yeah, you strap down the jetpack. You just got to wait till it runs out of fuel.
Is it at all damaging, like, to do it do you do it every day? Like, is there any, like...
So that's a perfectly fair question. When I first got the light, first of all, I've had a meditative practice since I was about 8 years old.
So you're an experienced.
So I've had like 20 years of experience. Not necessarily daily, but I've been sitting in lotus, practicing breathing exercises, meditating through trauma, through hard portions of my life and panic attacks, all kinds of stuff. Real meditation for 20 years. When I got this, I was very excited. I was totally addicted to it. I was doing it several times a day, every day for weeks. And then I started to slow down. I was doing it daily for like a month or two. And then I noticed that as I was going to bed at night, I was seeing that before I fell asleep. It was starting to happen at will anytime I wanted without having to use the light.
Wow.
So after that happened, I wasn't using it as much. I didn't feel the need to, honestly. Now, since I started really working professionally, doing this professionally, I give lights. I'm always on that side of the light, giving the light sessions and just being in the room with it. if I close my eyes and I go into meditation, I still receive it. I don't even need to be in front of it. I can receive it off of somebody's face. You know, it's more mild, but I don't really need it that strong. So today I gave myself a direct light session. It was a 1-minute session. It was right before I started my day at Dreaming Goddess.
Huh.
But sometimes, you know, I'll just set it up. I'll give it a quick test. I'll make sure it works, make sure the headphones are functioning well. But because I do this every day and because I have the experience I do, it's not something that I personally yearn for all the time. But sometimes I do. Sometimes I want to set it up and I want to go in for a half hour, 45 minutes. I mean, it can be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can be a really enjoyable, very trippy experience. It's a journey every time.
Mm.
So if you were doing it several times a day for months, answer to your question is probably not dangerous.
Probably not
No,
super damaging.
it is no. I would
Yeah.
not say it can. I'd say it can do no harm.
Yeah.
That's what I would
just
say.
felt like I wanted to have like that kind of perspective, like as like I mean now I'm like very interested in it, and like I mean you said it was good for someone with anxiety and like
Extremely.
that's like, you know, my issue. But
join the club.
But it's just like it's interesting to like kind of consider that, and like there was a moment where I was meditating like a lot to the point where like I wasn't really like sleeping well without it, like without like meditating, and it made it like sleep kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's I kind of like backed off from that, and I was just kind of wondering if it was like a similar kind of thing to it. But it sounds pretty different.
Yeah, I would say, you know, it's. I have never. As somebody with post-traumatic stress disorder, panic attacks were regular, common, you know, just tons of anxiety all the time. And when I got the light, I had already overcome most of that just through meditative practice. But any amount of using the light, even my insomnia, which always hung around, almost immediately just was totally fixed. I have such an easy time getting to sleep now, and I attribute that mostly to using the Ajna light at all. It's so effective. Like I'll give somebody who's a total sworn insomniac, lifelong, a 10-minute session at the Dreaming Goddess, and I'll get an email the next day or 2 days later. Holy crap, I'm sleeping so well. They can't believe it. They can't.
Me
I
and
get
Mike
emails all the
Leakley
time.
should go in and do it.
Yeah,
that guy's a worse insomniac than I don't know if he still has problems, but
anybody with PTSD needs to try this.
Yeah,
they need to try this because it's not the kind of thing. As somebody with PTSD, I was terrified to try hardcore psychedelics, but I was desperate for an experience that was going to heal me, and that's exactly what it is. It's a psychedelic healing experience that there is zero to fear. Nothing to fear.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even for someone with night terrors.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't anticipate it would ever make them worse.
Well, if you were to do something like take LSD, that would take your whatever it is you're afraid of and put it right into your focus.
The funny thing is, and I've talked to did you want this? You can hold off. I've talked to a ton of psychologists and some medical doctors about like what it really is. And it's not even so much fear, it's just there are parts of my brain that are active when they shouldn't be, and it's very common. And it's in the same vein of sleepwalking. It's just it presents in a different way. Where I'm awake, but most of my brain's still sleeping. So I'm getting visual and audio audible hallucinations, basically.
The question is whether these hallucinations are enjoyable.
Yeah, they're not. That's the night terror part.
And that's where I would impose fear.
The trade-off with that is lucid dreaming. I lucid dream almost every night.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
And it's pretty cool, except for when things like that happen. And usually it's when I'm very sleep deprived that those things will happen, or if I drink like way too much, that'll happen. But then sometimes it's just random as well. But we've talked about it a bunch of times on the show. But like the lucid dreaming thing, there are a lot of times when I'll halfway wake up and I go, no, I'm not done. And I'll go back to sleep and go right back into whatever dream I was having. So it's been pretty cool. But like I said, I have to watch out for certain things like melatonin. I tried to take melatonin 4 or 5 times for insomnia, and it just escalated all of that. So, yeah.
Melatonin, I took too much of that in the winter, and I thought I was I felt like I was stoned all day. I couldn't function. Like everything was like my motor skills were screwed up. I had to drive for the last job I had to drive a lot. I traveled all over the place, and just driving, I felt like I was almost swaying. Like I couldn't really like drive well. And I just had way too much, and I read up on it about like overdosing on it and everything.
Yeah,
like
and that was what I said to you. It's like
what?
if you don't need it, you shouldn't be taking it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a supplement. It's for people that
it's
don't
marketed
yeah,
as such.
Yeah, but it's for people that don't produce enough. If you're producing a normal amount, if you're producing a normal amount,
it's okay to have it afterward, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you want more than that?
Oh Jesus! All right,
it's
here we
fine.
go.
It's not that high alcohol.
Just be careful around the.
Yeah. Believe me, I know.
All right, so why don't we? Wait, where is it? This thing is so messed up.
Mine was working just fine.
What?
Are you?
No, my soundboard is broken.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, I found it. And my computer's muted. Doesn't matter. Anyway, this is homemade honey wine. But it's super young, so 6 months it'll be much better.
Chad made it.
No, I made it. It's completely legal to make mead.
It's awesome.
You
It
like
really
it?
came. Yeah, it came out great.
The only thing off-putting about it is that you're drinking. It's like bright yellow, and you're drinking
Yeah.
it out of a mason
Yeah, it looks
jar,
like urine.
and it looks like
It looks
Joe
like
Rogan drinks his first piss of the morning.
Stop.
Well,
Does he really?
So do astronauts. Yeah, he talked about this. There's a lot of health benefits to actually. I don't do it. I have never had the gall to do it.
I've
but
known someone who did. You ever try? I'm like, no,
You-
we're not.
you-
So,
I'm not doing that.
yeah, if you're doing, if you're doing shrooms, then you got a pretty good reason to. But the reason that I have an issue with that is because even when you're perfectly hydrated, your urine has higher salt content than the ocean.
I don't think it's about rehydrating in the morning.
Well, no, I know. It's just
It's the nutrients
it's-
that are in your
it can
first
be-
urine.
But it can be very bad for your kidneys because you're basically drinking salt water.
I'm not sure. I have not seen too much detrimental data.
Well, if it's small amounts, it's probably fine.
I'm not sure you're
Yeah.
drinking the whole thing.
Yeah, if you're drinking a,
I think
if you're drinking
taking like
yeah.
a little bit in a cup and just
Yeah.
getting some of your
You
nutrients.
see, no matter what the health benefit is, I'm not going to do it. But
I'm not either.
But like all those survival shows, like Bear Grylls drinks his urine almost every episode. It's the worst thing you can do. It really is. It's going to dehydrate you more. If you do it and then drink a bunch of water, it's probably completely fine. But like I said, if you drink seawater, it will make you sick.
But I mean,
and
how
can
much
cause
are we,
renal failure.
How much are we talking about, though?
I don't think it's the whole piss.
Yeah, if it's 2 ounces, it's not going to make
Well,
a difference.
that's
It's a
what I'm
couple
saying.
shots.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like I was gonna say, if it's like a shot, do you put it in a shot glass? Like that's the other thing.
You
Like,
know
do
Joe
Into
Rogan
shot
does, right?
glasses.
He's got like an I ate the worm double shot glass that he pisses in. Sure, I would too.
Yeah, he's
I don't
got
think I
it's a
could do-
souvenir shot glass from Jamaica. It says "Jamaican me crazy." And he
Yeah.
shoots down some urine.
Yeah, it's. I don't think I could do it in like a coffee cup. Or
I don't think I could
something
do
like
it at all.
Yeah, I
Well,
feel
you
like
can't.
I
You
would
can't
have, like, a
drink
mental
anything out of a
issue with
coffee
that.
cup, but coffee or hot chocolate, because otherwise it's just weird.
Yeah,
you ever
it
drink
is.
a beer out of a coffee mug? You like go to blow on it.
Water.
I
Yeah.
mean, I drink wine out of a mug because that's just the kind of lady I am.
People drink wine out of a box.
Yeah, really.
Oh man. All right, what do you think? I think we're there.
Yeah, we're over an hour and a half, right? I don't even know.
All right, so we'll do this. William, this was enlightening. This was cool.
Yeah, very neat.
I'm really impressed. I had I didn't have doubts, but I was just like, let's see how this goes, because I'm not like, I'm never 100% in, but I do like to give the benefit of the doubt. And
He did do Wiccan spells in high school. So
yeah,
he's open
so
to anything.
I'm down for anything. I will be back in to do this. I wouldn't mind doing this, like I said, before a show on, not before a show, maybe in like the morning or something before a podcast or something. I think this would set me straight.
We're off on Mondays, so
Yeah.
maybe next week we'll both stop in and do one before the show.
Yeah, and it's better to make an appointment, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can walk in, but somebody might have walked in or somebody might have an appointment.
All right, cool. So, yeah, we'll look
And
you
you
up.
said it's Monday through Wednesday?
So Monday I'm there 10:30 to 5:30 is my appointments available. And then Tuesday is 2:30 to 5:30 and Wednesday is the same 2:30 to 5:30.
Cool.
Again, it's
So,
William Greenage for Ajna LightNYC.com, AJNA LightNYC.com, light worker at AJNAlight.com. Shoot him an email. And like I said, and that Dreaming Goddess, that's on Raymond Avenue in Poughkeepsie. What's the address there?
44 Raymond Avenue.
Oh, it is
you
44.
work there.
Oh,
The
it's
whole
attached,
building.
it's the
Whole
same-
building's 44.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I
Nice.
figured you were 42 or something.
44 Raymond Avenue,
Yep.
also the home of the Crafted Cup Coffee House. If you want to call him if you want to call William on the phone, or send him a text, 917-789-3644, 917-789-3644.
What are your thoughts on caffeine before this?
No alcohol, and just because it was up, we were
Yeah.
talking about it, no serious psychedelics.
Yeah.
I've had people ask me, like, especially now that cannabis is medicinal.
Mhm.
I don't personally have a problem with that.
Mhm.
I haven't asked Guy. I don't think Guy would recommend that. But me personally, as someone who's, used this and given a lot of sessions to people who are, medicinal cannabis users, it doesn't seem to have a problem. But I wouldn't do shrooms or anything
Yeah,
hard. Don't
yeah.
do anything serious. If you're gonna have a light session, this is serious.
Yeah,
enough.
to me, it's like if you're going in to do this thing, I want to have a clear head when I do this. Just so there's no outside interference. You want to experience exactly what your body's going to show you.
Right. So if you smoke pot all day, every day, you don't necessarily need to come in any different than you usually would. But if you're somebody that gets super plowed, don't eat a whole gummy bear that day.
Just
you know
eat
what
the
I
leg.
mean? Yeah, just grab a leg.
I just imagine like on a plate just sawing a leg off of a gummy bear.
All right, so this is the point of the show where we pick out a title, and everybody has a say in this title. And Adam's been compiling a list.
I know which one it's going to be.
Over the course of
but
the
we
day.
have we have St. John's Beach, a heroic dose,
all right,
a warm bowl of pudding, a safe, easy psychedelic experience.
I like that.
Apples and German death metal. And planar positioning system.
Ay. All right.
So I'm going to tell you right here, I want a hashtag planar positioning system. And then it's going to be, for me, between apples and German death metal and a safe, easy psychedelic experience.
I know. That's tough.
I mean, apples and German death metal is funny, but it's not.
It doesn't kind of fit.
Representative of the show.
Yeah.
So,
but a safe, easy psychedelic experience.
Yeah, and then we can argue about where the commas go and if there should be semicolons
I'm
or
gonna
regular
put commas
colons.
all over that fucking thing.
We have a lot of arguments about grammar. Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm a fan of Harvard commas.
Yeah.
Oxford commas.
Oxford is the Oxford
one
comma.
we use.
Well, it's the same thing, I think. I don't know, but anyway, you could go a safe, and then if you just get rid of this, then it's safe, but also an easy psychedelic experience, or it's safe and easy, and it's a psychedelic experience.
That's the way I would do it.
That's the way I would do it too.
'Cause that's
but
the way I would
But
say
Ryan,
likes to be
sometimes he
combative.
thinks commas
I
are.
would put
Sometimes
a
he thinks
space there.
commas are for the reader to add drama to a sentence.
Well, how would
Like
you
to
say it? Do you say
so?
a
I would say
safe,
a safe,
easy psychedelic?
experience. There would be
Safe,
beats in
easy.
between, but it applies here, but not everywhere.
I'm gonna say
we had
a
one episode called "A Nice Deep
comma.
Ass Crack." Yeah, so it's a nice, deep ass crack, right? So it's nice and it's deep and it's an ass crack.
But I would not. I wouldn't.
It's not a nice deep ass crack.
That's what I would say.
It's nice and
Actually,
deep.
You know what? It depends on your perspective.
Yeah, if it's nice because it's deep, or if it's nice and deep, are two totally different things, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that particular example, but I can't see more than one comma in it. As much as I love commas.
Yeah, and I think I was on your side with that. You wanted an extra comma.
Well, yeah, I wanted the nice, deep comma. Like I
Yeah.
wanted
Nah,
a
it's a
nice
deep ass crack.
nice comma, deep comma, ass crack.
Yeah, because the question that we gave you was, is it nice because it's deep? And you said yes. And I said, that's too many commas then. Yeah, that was a good episode.
You need big buns to have a deep crack.
I think that's the one though. A safe, easy, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna put commas all over it. Like it's gonna be a comma, safe comma, easy comma. It's just gonna be comma, 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 comma. Or maybe I'll write out the word comma just to be a complete dick.
But put it in parentheses to just add another.
Yeah.
Like, we need more punctuation.
Yeah.
I think.
We had one episode that was called Dead Radio, Fury Road.
Like the word colon.
Yeah. No, it was it was just the whatever. Just listen back.
Real quick, big shout out to Sasha Velour, this year's winner of RuPaul's Drag
No one
Race,
cares about
season
that.
9.
Just you and Aaron.
I was a big fan.
I
I was rooting for her the entire season.
You guys, you have 2 hours and 28 minutes to pick up a Dead Radio Podcast T-shirt.
Yes. Teespring.com/Dead Radio shirt. The what is it called? The Kickstarter
campaign.
The
It's a
campaign. The campaign
so
ends at
it's
11
been fulfilled. So if you order a T-shirt tonight, it will ship out probably Tuesday or Wednesday, and then we're going to do a new run of shirts, probably with a slightly different design or something.
Also, check
in
out
the next couple of weeks, maybe ladies' shirts. If people are interested, send us some messages. As long as we can sell 3 ladies' shirts, we'll run a campaign.
I want ladies' shirts.
All
I
right,
want to
let's
see
do it.
ladies in our shirts.
Dude, if you buy one for Brooke and I buy one for Amy, one more person has to buy a shirt.
I don't think Brooke's gonna want that.
I don't care. You can wear it during your alone time.
Now, because they're ladies' shirts and they
You
have
didn't even
less,
fucking hear it.
they have less fabric. Is that going to be cheap? We'll figure that out later.
They're more expensive
They're
because
more expensive.
women's patterns are more expensive than men's patterns.
And there's more sizes, and it's very complicated.
And they're terrible because they
Gives
have
me a
cap
headache.
sleeves and they go in at your waist. I hate women's T-shirts with all of my heart.
I'm digging your Jurassic Park shirt, though.
Oh, thank you. I made it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Patreon.com/Dead Radio Podcast.
altered it.
Check that out. Patreon.com/Dead Radio Podcast. Send us a few shekels. That's where you can donate to the show.
Julia's a
to
sponsor.
Keep us running.
I sure am.
Julia is a sponsor.
Do you want to have some sort of endorsement or shout out?
Yeah, that's
Follow
right.
me on Instagram.
Go ahead.
Jules_kitten.
Cool.
Jules_kitten.
Are you altering clothing as like a business?
I can be. I
can be.
I can be. I need money real bad.
You had this kind of like.
Yes, I am.
Maybe
I
you
haven't
should
seen
start
your
a-
work, but I know that you do it. You
Yeah.
made this shirt. You
I
said
made this shirt. I'm making.
Awesome.
I'm fixing
Yeah.
your girlfriend's dress. I do
Yeah.
more alterations.
Yeah.
Than
So
making stuff.
direct message her on Instagram for alterations.
Jules_kitten. And also, once more, Ajna. I can't like
Ajna.
Ajna.
Yeah.
AjnaLightNYC.com. Lightworker at AjnaLightNYC.com for your appointments over at the Dreaming Goddess. Patreon.com, Dead Radio Podcast, to sponsor the show or to just throw us a few bucks. $1 a month, people. I'm guaranteeing
$1 a month.
We'll
get Ryan 30 seconds of light therapy.
It buys one meal. It buys one meal a day for me.
What?
And the podcast. I'm hearkening back to those late night Sally Struthers
Oh,
things.
okay. That was bad. But
It was a
all
bad
right,
joke,
let's move
and
along.
that's how you end this show.
Yeah.
With a bad joke.
Thank you guys for having me on.
It was.
We had a great time.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
a blast. This is great. I can't wait to go back and try it again.
You find me on Facebook, William Greenage.
Oh yeah, William Greenage, Greenage, the fourth.
It's not the 4th on Facebook.
Doesn't make it any
Just
less
on my
true.
driver's license.
All right, kids. Until next week. What do we got next weekend?
We have no one next week.
Oh shit! Freeform.
Maybe Ryan's mommy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so
Let me know if she wants a light session
yeah,
on the air.
I'll let you know.
I'll
try and record her when I
week
ask her
might
the
be
question, see what
next week
happens.
might be a bit of a marathon if we set things up with Dave and your mom for his show and then do our show with her, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's also big news on the horizon for a July 31st show. I want to make sure that that's nailed down completely before.
Which one was that one? The one that I just texted you about?
Yeah.
I don't know if you have the date right.
I thought it was the 31st.
I don't know. I have to look.
Well, it doesn't matter. But if you're a fan of the show and you've been sticking with us, it's something that we've talked about at great length, and I'm super excited to have these guys on. But I want to leave it as a teaser because it's not 100% yet. So
yeah. Hang on. I want to be able to say if you're wrong.
Jesus
like on
Christ,
the air.
is it that important?
It is
I'm trying
important.
to end
It's
the
important
show.
to me. It's important to me. You're right. See? I have integrity. I needed to know. You were right.
Thank you again.